Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to talk about how to understand that an avoidant is actually really attached to you just based on their reaction. A lot of people do not know this, and I think most people who watch my channel know this. But in general, this is something I talk about a lot. If an avoidant has pretty much any reaction to you, they're attached to you, even a bad one. I'm not saying you should deal with or tolerate abuse or mistreatment. I am not saying that. I'm simply telling you what it is. The truth of the matter is, if an avoidant is reactive to you and your moods and your feelings or your triggers or whatever is going on in this relationship, right? Relationships are complicated. I don't even want to get into that, not at least today. But in general, if an avoidant reacts to you, they're attached to you. And we're going to talk about 6 different types of reactions to understand where this attachment is coming from. We're going to expand upon it. And then at the end, we are going to summarize it, okay? So the very first one is more common with fearful avoidance, but it does happen with dismissive avoidance, but much more common with fearful avoidance, is overexplaining when they feel that you are mad or upset. I know fearful avoidance, you guys know you do this, and especially if you care about that person, because you don't want them mad or upset. The tricky part is some fearful avoidance do this with anybody. And so it can be challenging. When dismissive avoidance do this, of course, it's obviously you're attached. But in general, fearful avoidance will do this even more so when they care about you, because they don't want you upset and they don't want you mad. And actually the reason this comes from, it's kind of unfortunate. Fearful avoidance, a lot of them were abused and neglected in childhood. And so the parent or the caregiver is the person that they love the most, of course. And what happens is they had to over-explain to not be hurt or abused or reacted against from their caregiver. And so that's where it comes from. So that's why when they are very attached to a person, unfortunately, they assign that person in the role. I'm not saying that you're abusing a fearful avoidant. I'm not saying that. But that's where it comes from, right? When they're very attached to someone, their partner, it's the same way that they felt about their parent, their mom or dad. That's what they react like to their husband or wife or whoever you are, right? And so often they're trying to not make you mad because they love you and they feel like how you perceive them is very vital to them. It's not true, but with parents it can be, right? It can be vital. It can be life or death. Some parents can be so abusive you don't know what they're going to do. And so that's where it comes from. The next one is that they actually, way more common with dismissive avoidance, they crash out for whatever reason, and then they change after y'all have calmed down. So let's say, for example, we have an anxious preoccupied. Maybe they get upset because you guys don't go on dates anymore. Pretty common, right? It usually with long-term marriages, this happens. I have like 10 couples that have this issue. And the anxious or fearful avoidant is pretty upset, not going on dates. And dismissive avoidant is like, yeah, this is a sign that we're happy, that we're stable. We don't need that anymore, which is not fair because the other partner, that's what they need, right? And so the dismissive avoidant gets really defensive, and then they claim that they feel pressure, that they can't do it, that their partner's asking for too much. Partner should be grateful because their marriage is so stable. Why are you picking fights all the time? We have such a happy marriage. Why are you making it all about this? Why are you holding on to something? You should know I love you. Why do we need to do that? Whatever it is. So now very defensive, kind of self-centered, right? And the other partner is feeling ignored. But what happens is in a couple weeks, after the fight kind of simmers down, a lot of avoidance, they start doing this thing, the thing that they were defensive over, right? Now they're starting to plan dates. The interesting part is some of them do this and then it falls off again. But a lot of them, they actually do it and it's permanent. Usually the way you can tell is the lag time between it. If they start doing it right away, right after you yelled at them, sometimes that means that it's not permanent. If it takes a little bit and then they start doing it, that might be a little bit more permanent. But you know your partner better. But a lot of times when they react like this very specific way, usually it means they're very attached to you. The next one is that they're talkative, about their hobbies. And they share all the details, right? So let's say, for example, we have a dismissive avoidant female and she likes, I'm trying to think of like a more unique hobby because usually it's like a vulnerable type of situation. Maybe she likes knitting. I think that can be a little unique. I don't know. And she's kind of rambling about how she really likes knitting and all the details. And I don't know anything about knitting, so I don't know how to emulate that story. But whatever it is, maybe she's talking about the colors or the wool or whatever you got to do, different needles. I have no idea, okay? She's talking about her hobby, and she just keeps bringing it up, and she loves to share about it, and she's very open. Sometimes, especially with dismissive avoidance, when they're talking about themselves, like a hobby or something they're not comfortable sharing, like it's been closed off, it might be hard to keep track of what they're saying. And they might be it almost feels like they're spilling it all over the place, right? I have this problem, and I still do, just in general with like most communication. Sometimes it's just like I spill it, like I'm just saying what I'm feeling, because I'm not good with, like, I'm very bad with expressing myself naturally. And so I just say whatever it is and hope that it landed, because I don't have much practice with it. And so that's what it's going to sound like, right? They're just saying things. They don't know if it's landing. They're not really sure. And because of that, sometimes it can come across a little rude, because they don't know when they're supposed to give you room to talk. But it is a sign that they are very attached and safe with you, okay? The next one is they might feel moody or anxious when you're moody or anxious. Interesting enough, avoidants do this, and a lot of them don't realize they do this. But a lot of times their mood is attached to how you feel. And you might even see this if you have a parent who's avoidant. If your parent is avoidant, very often they get really, really fixated on their child's moods. Sometimes they might even tell you that's why they don't want you to have emotions, and that's how you became avoidant. But whatever. Avoidants are really sensitive to the moods of other people that they love and care about. And so sometimes they want you to stop having that emotion because they feel it so strongly. I know it sounds really selfish, because it is, right? They don't want you to feel that way because they don't know what to do with it. They don't like when they have emotions, but you're making them have emotions in their mind. So they're like, if I make you stop having emotions, I'll stop having this emotion that makes me feel so out of control. So you'll see that a lot. And a lot of people don't have any idea that's why avoidants do it, but that is why they do it, okay? The next one is they actually struggle to concentrate when you're upset at them. I don't think avoidants will admit this, but it is extremely common. You guys can probably tell. If they're driving is a really good example, even if it's a little scary. Sometimes you might have to concentrate. Let's say you're driving in a city, and maybe you're a little bit upset at them. Avoidants will really, really struggle with this. I mean, it's so hard for them to focus. They can get kind of angry. A lot of my patients struggle with anger, so maybe that's just my caseload type thing. If they're cutting like vegetables, they might accidentally like cut themselves by accident and then get really upset, and they need to take a break from like the whole entire situation, even though you didn't do anything and you were just like a little upset and you didn't even mean it like that, but they took it like really far. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this happen. It's very common with the caseloads I have. It's because they're attached to you. I'm not saying these are good things, by the way. I'm just telling you information, okay? The next one is they tell you how to fix your problems and cure whatever it is that you're feeling because it's bothering them so much and they want it to go away. So let's say you're really frustrated that, I don't know, you have to change your HVAC system or HVAC, however it's called, right? And that's expensive. Let's say $13K was your quote. And you want to change that. And you're upset about that. And you're trying to figure out what to do. And they completely tell you, get 3 quotes, pick the best one. Don't pick the cheapest, but don't get the most expensive. Do X, Y, and Z. And they become like really bossy about it. Because they're trying to make this go away because you being hurt or fixated on this bothers them. And it's not because they think you're annoying. It's not that. Avoidants are really sensitive to people's emotions when they care about it. So they don't like the fact that maybe you don't have air conditioning. It bothers them a lot. They're thinking about it. They're not going to tell you this, but it is true. Some of them, it bothers them so much they're like having trouble sleeping. You will not believe me, but I'm telling you. And so that's why they do some of these things. So let's summarize and then we'll wrap it up. The first one is they overexplain when they feel like you're upset or mad, more common with fearful avoidance. Crashing out and then changing after y'all have calmed down, more common with dismissive avoidance. Talkative about sharing their hobbies and all their details, more common with dismissive avoidance. Feeling moody or anxious when you're moody or anxious, both of them do this. Struggling to concentrate when you're upset at them, both fearful and dismissive avoidance do this. Telling you how to fix your problems so they can stop feeling so attached to the emotion that you're having and actually to make you feel better, but they're doing it kind of in a more controlling way. A little bit more common with dismissive avoidance, but they both do it. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.